that would have been the time to come forward. When you were asked about it in June of 2016, I don't take any pleasure out of sentencing anyone, but, you know, that's a part of my job.
Breaking news out of Georgia, where a judge, you heard, got emotional as he sentenced Bo Dukes to 25 years in prison. Dukes found guilty for lying to police about covering up the murder of teacher and beauty queen Tara Grinstead. Moments ago, he faced Tara's family.
To the Tara Grinstead family, I'm truly sorry. Your long suffering has been unimaginable. My actions were cowardly, callous, and cruel. I was more interested in self-pity and self-preservation than doing the right thing for Tara and for you. I pray for your forgiveness.
So that's the first taste of justice for a family that's been waiting 13 agonizing years. A murder trial still to come, by the way. Let's bring in CNN correspondent Diane Gallagher, who spent time in that small Georgia community. So you know this community has waited a long time for some answers. And very emotional today, wasn't it, Diane?
It really was. In fact, one of the most emotional days we've had this entire trial that's been going on for the entire week at this point, Mike. Look, hearing Bo Dukes speak not just to her family, but he turned around and he apologized to the entire community. He said that he was sorry for anybody who had been unreasonably, their reputation had been ruined, people who'd been under suspicion, all of the law enforcement who maybe had people lost their trust in over the past dozen years or so. He apologized, as you just heard there, to her family, and then he apologized to his own family and to his ex-girlfriend and her family. Remember, he confessed to his ex-girlfriend about helping to burn the body. She is what kind of helped set this in motion when he went ahead and spoke to the Georgia Bureau of Investigators again. This was something where, in listening to those closing arguments, Mike, they really found a way to encapsulate the emotion and just how charged this has been and how dramatic this has been for this community that's been hoping for some sort of answer since 2005.
Thanks again. Great work on this, spending time there as, again, now we focus on the murder trial. But let's bring in attorney and host of the True Crime podcast, Sworn Philip Holloway. You know this community very well. You were an officer in Ocilla, so you knew all along just some of the emotions and just the knowledge that people had of this case. So as you see this, you see the emotions, and he gets 25 years. Any of that surprise you?
Yes, and I grew up in that community, and I can tell you the heartache is real, it's palpable, and it affects every single person in that community, almost barring none. The words that we heard from Bo Dukes this morning, where he basically says, you know, I was a coward. Well, that's probably the only thing that anybody can agree on that he said that's probably true. He's given so many different versions of what he says happened and how it says happened. This isn't over. There's another trial scheduled as of now for a couple of weeks from now, starting April 1st, where Bo Dukes has alleged that Ryan Duke, no relation, is in fact the person responsible for the murder. Now, bear in mind, Bo is not likely to be a witness for the state in that trial, but he may very well be a witness for the defense, Mike, and they're going to love to parade him out in front of a jury if they can, maybe in these handcuffs and leg irons and shackled, and parade him in front of the jury and say, look, this is the kind of guy right here who not only is he a liar, he's a convicted liar, a felonious liar, but he, on January 1st of 2019, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this is a guy who raped and kidnapped women in Houston County, Georgia. So he's the kind of guy that could be a killer. That's what we're going to see in the next trial.
Okay, so refresh what is the defense of Ryan Duke? Ryan Duke's defense is going to be Bo Dukes did it. I'm not the killer. Is that what we're going to hear in a couple weeks?
That's exactly right. I think everybody sort of is on the same page that these are the right two guys that were involved in this overall scheme, if you will, but they're pointing the fingers at each other. Ryan says Bo did it. Bo says Ryan did it. Now, there is a confession that Ryan made, but the defense is strongly advocating that that is a false confession and that it has a lot of the earmarks of false confession. So it remains to be seen, because the prosecutors have conceded that absent the statements evidence by these two guys. They don't have any other evidence like physical evidence or circumstantial that Ryan is in fact the killer.
Okay, let's harken back here a little bit more from the prosecutor's closing arguments again against Bo Dukes, and we'll see what you can glean off what they had to say as they wrapped up their case. Here it is.
It took 1,200 degrees to burn the bones of Tara Grinstead. It's hard to look at, I understand. Because pecan wood burns really hot. Yes, defense counsel is right. The things that you've seen, the things that you've heard, you don't forget about them when you leave here. Just like Bo Dukes didn't forget about, I don't recall telling John McCulloch. You don't forget that, ladies and gentlemen. In South Georgia, I think we say, come on now.
There you go, some down-home speak there. So at the end of the day, it sounds like all fire is going to go toward Bo Dukes now. Convicted Bo Dukes.
Yes, and Bo Dukes, though, is basically persona non grata. He's not going to be a state's witness. Like I said, he's probably going to be a defense witness. But everybody can agree that for the reasons that the prosecutor just pointed out, Bo Dukes is someone who richly deserves to be locked away for a very long time for his role now that he's been convicted in this awful, awful tragedy.
Got it. All right. Philip, thanks again. Your expertise so much appreciated in this. We'll continue to follow it.